It is okay to admit that you picked an automation tool because they either have really cute branding or a super powerful presence on LinkedIn. But now you're either paying way too much or, frankly, you're still manually copying stuff between apps because you never figured it out. So let's fix it. In this video, I'm going to not only compare Stepper, Zapier, Make, and Relay, but share some insider tips that I've used with over 400 businesses to help you figure out which platform actually makes sense for the work that you do. So let's start with a quick rundown of each platform. First up, Zapier. I'm sure you've heard of it. Zapier makes you happier. For about $20 a month, it gets you about 750 tasks, and they do have about 7,000 app integrations. Really easy to use for the basics, and it's industry standard for a reason. They've been around since 2011, and so they've had time to build out massive integration libraries and polish the user experience. They've got additional features too, like tables for storing data, paths for routing different workflows in different directions, and filters to control when automations run. But the problem is, all of that sounds so good, but all of that makes the platform expensive really quickly. And so once you need more tasks or premium apps, a great example is QuickBooks is only available as a premium app. So if you use QuickBooks, you have to pay more in order to use Zapier. And so you're looking at roughly $50 to $100 or more per month. And if you're doing anything complex with multiple steps or branches, it gets messy and you can eat through your task limit very quickly. Next up, we have Make. It used to be called Integromat, and if I'm being honest, it's very overwhelming for me. I've never been successful on this platform. But for about $9 a month, you get 10,000 tasks, or what they call operations, and it's all visual drag and drop flowcharts that show you exactly how your automation flow works. It's incredibly powerful for complex logic, conditional branching, things like routers, iterators, and aggregators for handling data in sophisticated ways. If you are a data automation guy, girl, gal, human, and you love a good HTTP model for custom API calling, this is your platform, okay? Because Make is built for custom API calls, error handling, and you can see your data transformations in real time. And of course, while the pricing is better than Zapier at scale, you get more control over exactly how your automations run. But the learning curve is so extensive. And to be even more so from just the learning of the basics, the interface itself, in my opinion, is very overwhelming. And so you're going to spend more time trying to figure it out instead of just building the automations and going on with your day, because it is developer friendly. And so if you're great technically, it's great, but it's so intimidating if you're not. Next up, we have Relay. Relay is a newer platform. It runs about $8 a month for 2,000 tasks or runs, as what they call them. But Relay is really special in the sense that they believe that humans should still be involved in the automation process. And so that is how this platform is built, is they want you putting in human in the loop automation. And so if you need, let's say, someone to approve something before the next automation runs, Relay is legitimately the best platform for that. They've got built-in approval steps, collaborative workflows where multiple people can interact with the automation, and they've got some AI assistance for drafting content within the workflows. So you can add logic like wait for a manager approval or let a team member choose option A or option B right in the middle of your automation. So it's great if you've got a team, but not everything should be fully automated. And that way you get the notifications, you know exactly where you are in those workflows. So of course we want efficiency, but we still need human judgment, human interaction within that process. The interface is clean, it's modern, and honestly, it's pretty user-friendly. It's pretty popular, I will say though, in the no-code, low-code space. And then of course we've got Stepper. As we know, Stepper is a part of Paperform's Swiss Army knife of tools, and it is a free platform. Unlike all of the other ones, it's not a free trial. It is a truly free plan for people who need basic automations. And because it's within Paperform's ecosystem, if you already are using Paperform, PaperSign, it's native. So you don't need a third-party middleman. Everything works natively. But it does connect, obviously, to a ton of other apps through its integration library. And as we've talked about on this channel a lot, the AI is really, really powerful because not only can you say, hey, I want to build this, you can actually say, hey, I have this idea. What would the workflow look like? And StepperAI will actually describe, ideate, and build with you and create the entire workflow from the triggers, the actions, the components, everything. Then, of course, you want to test it. We want to tweak it and go from there. And like I mentioned just now, components are a really cool, powerful feature of Stepper, which none of these other platforms have, which is that you can actually build reusable building blocks, save them, and then drop them into other workflows. So you're not just rebuilding the same logic over and over and starting from zero. You can really start from step 5 instead of step 1. And the trade-off is that, it is newer. Stepper launched in the end of 2025. And so it doesn't have as many integrations yet, let's say, as Zapier, who is a 15-year business. But Stepper has a really small, compact team that is so involved, and they are regularly launching features and integrations pretty much on a weekly basis at this point. They also have a really great Discord community that you can ideate workflows, you can show off what you're building, you can ask for support from the community, you can also get troubleshooting support, and of course, submit feature requests. And that seems to be a dying art of a lot of these tools on the market, is that you really have a hard time getting in touch with the humans building the platforms. And that's one thing that I love about the Paperform team with all of their tools, is they are really focused on human support, human connection, and helping you get to the end goal of whatever you're building. Okay, so how do we actually pick a tool? Okay, we talked about all the benefits, but I want you to have some of these questions in your back pocket to consider as you are picking the tool that's right for you. Question 1, do you even know what to automate? Because honestly, most people don't. I've worked with over 400 brands, and when I tell you these businesses know all the time, we're doing this repetitive work, we're burnt out, we're doing the same things, our experience is dwindling because we just don't want to do the same work, but they have all of that in the back of their head. They haven't actually mapped out their process, and you can't automate what you can't see and what you don't know that's in front of you. And so I want to teach you really quickly my if this then what method. This is what I use to help people decide what needs to be automated, what needs to stay manual. And so when we think about our workflows, okay, for every trigger that happens in your business, I want you to think about 2 actions. The first is internal and the second is external. So let me give you an example. I have a quiz lead magnet. So when someone submits that paper form, we have internal actions and we have external actions that need to happen. So from the internal side, we want to add them to my CRM, tag them based on their quiz results, whether they're a qualified lead, maybe they should be pitched a lower ticket offer, etc. We also want to update our lead count and know, okay, like this lead magnet is actually working. Then on the external side, we don't just want to say, great, you took this quiz, go on your way. We actually want to engage them further. So we want to send them an email with their results and then link to schedule a discovery call. Simple. We want to keep the conversation going. So that's 1 trigger, 2 actions. And once you map that out, you can see exactly what needs to be automated. So the other thing is that most people only think about the external stuff like the email or the calendar invite, but they forget the internal actions like updating their CRM, tracking the lead, logging it somewhere. And that's honestly, in my opinion, why systems break down. So before you pick a tool, I want you to map your processes out. And I have a really great workbook linked down below. I want you to use that to walk through your actual processes, figure out what you need, what you don't, understand your triggers, what happens internally, but also what is the external reactions that we also want happening. And this is where something like StepperAI is actually really helpful, because once you see your process in front of you, you can literally go into StepperAI and say, hey, this is the process. How can I automate it? How can I make it better? And it will ideate alongside of you. So this practice will help you figure out how to build it out. And while, let's say you're on Zapier or you're on Make, you need to already have this information decided and figured out. And so until you do, you're probably just going to be staring at a blank screen without much momentum. So question number 2, how much automation do you actually need? We all see everyone is jumping on AI, everyone is jumping on automation, but what actually matters for your business? Most small businesses, freelancers, and creatives that I've worked with, on average, only need about 10 automations. That's it. You're not running this massive operation. You've got your client intake, you've got your lead follow-up, you've got your invoice generation, and maybe some social media scheduling or something. And if that's you, the super complex platforms are really going to be overkill. You don't need Make's advanced flowcharts. You don't need Zapier's premium features. And Stepper handles 10 automations easily with no limits. And so if you need more than that, as you continue to scale, you'll know exactly what you need anyway. I also, as like a tiny snippet towards StepperAI, I put a video out a couple of weeks ago of how to actually work with StepperAI as you scale to say, hey, let's add this, or how do we add this? And it will update your workflows for you. Question number 3. What features do you actually need? This is where tools start to truly differentiate. So Zapier's got things like tables for storing data, multi-steps paths for routing, and if you need it, that's great. Make's got HTTP models, and if you're doing custom API work or webhook work, legitimately powerful. But here's the question. 1, do you even know what any of that means? And 2, do you need those features? I really think, if you are doing low code, you're doing, app building, things like that, go more advanced. If you're only automating form submissions from your website to your CRM and your email, you do not need those. Like most people, all you need is reliable triggers. You need basic conditional logic and straightforward actions. Stepper does that. And if you hit a limitation, you can always switch. You can always upgrade to a different platform. Question number 4, how much hand-holding do you need? This is a crucial question that, in my opinion, I don't think a lot of people are as open and as comfortable answering, and that's okay. If you are a beginner when it comes to building automations, I want you to pick a tool that is easy to use. So that is also where StepperAI is helpful because it guides you through the entire setup. You describe what you want, like when someone books a call, you add them to Notion, send a confirmation, and it takes care of it for you. But these other tools like Zapier, they have Copilot, which, honestly, it gets a lot of stuff wrong. And so, you still end up doing a ton of manual configuration, like mapping fields and trying to figure out what went wrong. I couldn't tell you how many times I've had clients after projects are done where they get these emails from Zapier and they're like, what does this mean? And it's an email that's like, it may have failed, but they don't tell you where or what or why. And so it's truly overwhelming for a lot of new users. And so if you've never automated anything before, having AI that actually helps you, not just kind of suggest things, makes a massive difference. Okay, so now that we've kind of gone through our basic foundation questions, let's use some actual use case scenarios to help us make this decision better. So scenario number 1, you're running a coaching business, you're using Paperform for client bookings, you want to automate intake forms, and you want to send confirmation emails. Maybe add some stuff to your calendar. I say start with Stepper. It's built natively for Paperform. The AI will help you set it up. There's no cost barrier to getting started. And if you hit some limitation down the road, you try something else. But 90% of the time, you probably don't. Scenario number 2, you're running a whole marketing operation. You've got 30 workflows, complex conditional logic. Let's say you have multiple sales funnels that you need things talking to each other in specific ways with filtering and paths and things like that. This is where Make or Zapier makes sense because you need the power. And Make's probably better value at that scale, if I'm being honest, between the two, but you're also not the person asking which tool to pick. You already know. Scenario 3, you've got a team and you need approval steps. So let's say someone books a sales call with you, you want to review it before the calendar invite goes out. That's going to be Relay. That's literally why they were built, and they are really good at that. There are other tools technically, can do this. You can go in and say, send an email to Sally and ask for her approval, but then the automation still technically runs. And so there's a lot of weird finagling you need to do in a lot of these other tools, but Relay is actually built for stop and go within automation. Scenario number 4, you are just starting out, you don't know what you need, you're just experimenting. Again, go with Stepper. I can't say it enough, but it's not because it's free, but it handles what most small businesses actually need, and you won't hit that paywall on your tech spend as you're learning. The other tools are good. They're established for a reason, but for most people watching this, Stepper's the easier starting point that you probably won't outgrow. If you're already deep in automation and you know exactly what you need, like you're running 50 workflows, you need a specific advanced features, go with Zapier and Make because they've got the scale. But that's probably not you. Let's be honest. That's the whole reason we're here. You're new to this. You're a beginner. You're basic. And that's okay. It's okay to not need all these crazy bells and whistles. And I will always scream this from the top of the mountains. Before you even look at software, go do the work analog style. Truly understand what your needs and your wants are. Use my if this then what method. You can grab my workbook down below to help you get started, to help you map out your triggers, your internal, your external actions, and then you'll know exactly what you need to automate. And once you've done that, I want you to try Stepper. I want you to try Zapier. I want you to try to Make. I want you to have an informed opinion about what platform makes the most sense for you. But one fun thing, I'm challenging myself to also do the same. And to be honest, I've been a little fearful of Make forever, okay? So I am going to put out a video here in the next couple of weeks doing a Stepper versus Make comparison. So if you want to see those two head to head in a real workflow, make sure to smash that subscribe button. Now go automate something.